All right, y'all. I'm back in the saddle. That was smooth. Can't do that. Can't do the copyrighted music. You guys already know. Not gonna be able to do it. I'm gonna be headed home. I was thinking about doing the stream on my way over here, but I was just like, damn, I look scruffy as shit. Maybe if I look a little bit better. It's like, let me take care of the grooming issue, then go live. And I think this was the right decision. I do believe that was the right decision. Ah, pretty nice Friday. You know, my work for the day is a little bit later, so I'm not like in a terrible rush or anything like that. Uh, you know, tomorrow I'll be taking the other car because we have an informal wedding to attend tomorrow, and I'm kind of excited. You guys know the last wedding I went to, uh, about a half a year ago. I wore an expensive tuxedo. This time, I finally get to do something I've always wanted to do, which is wear a tuxedo T-shirt. And now I can. It's happening, folks. Tuxedo T-shirt for Dr. Evil, and I'm happy with it. Now, you know, of course, you know, I'm a very tall person, a long person. So while the length of the arms are on a little bit on the short side, but it's all right. The torso is a little bit short. I wish there was like another inch and a half, maybe 2 inches in length. Um, you know, the actual torso part of the shirt, um, but I'm happy with it. The ladies are happy with it. I'm hoping that tomorrow is going to be fun and not boring. Um, just please be fun. Please don't be boring. Just don't be boring. Those tuxedo T-shirts were and still are an instant classic, and that is true, which is why I'm so excited by the, the I'm very happy with the opportunity to wear one finally. somebody is playing Money Ain't a Thing at a level that is so loud in the other car that I'm pretty sure they have permanent hearing damage. And when they get a text message on this, on their cell phone, they'll never know it because the vibrations in that vehicle are so ridiculous. I know they can't sense shit, but it is a song that I like a lot. But man, it does kind of sound like a shitty sound system. I'm not gonna front. You can't make a fun wedding into a boring one, but you sure as hell can make a boring one fun. How? I don't know how that's possible. You sit there, you're supposed to be polite and listen to them drone on about, how sacred marriage is. Till death do us part, and death meaning, whenever the woman decides that there are irreconcilable differences. They should just take that out of wedding vows. Like, just take that out of wedding vows. Like, I don't mean that shit. And it's like, if you're not actually going to keep the wedding vow till death do us part, don't even say it. Because who the fuck wants to think about death if you ain't even really serious about it? Like my dad always says, don't talk about it, be about it. This time I didn't put the car in sport mode. This time I did not put the car in and because I did get a report from one of the viewers who watched the stream after that it sounds like I'm speaking underwater or some shit. So I was like, damn, I wonder if it's the engine sounds. But then he was like, hey, you get a lapel mic, maybe that'll make a difference. I'm like, by golly, I think he's right. And the reason why I think he's right is because I'm going to be doing some of these streams with the top down, and you're going to hear a whole lot of different noises in the environment. And it kind of just makes more sense to get a lapel mic. So I'm definitely thinking about it. I'm thinking about getting a lapel mic, put it like right here on whatever shirt collar I've got going, you know. Um, I'm definitely going to consider um, that bit of advice that was given to me. So, and of course, a really good idea like that. Wow, this kid just in a full beard. He looks like a 10-year-old with a full beard, like a beard more full than mine. And I'm about to make this left-hand turn, and he's like, tunnel vision. I don't see anything. I'm just gonna run for it. But this is why I drive the way I drive. Like, I anticipate people making mistakes. I anticipate the mistake that I think that they could make before they actually make it, which is why I don't get into accidents. Not because I'm like this wonderful driver. It's just that I think of all the possible mistakes. And it's like, yeah. I get a lot of stares from people driving this car. But there's a young man who can't stop looking at it, and I'm more in awe of him being in awe of this car than all of the white people that um I'm more in awe of all of the white people that um go crazy over this car. Because I was just making the point not too long ago that I was just making the point not that long ago that I am essentially invisible to white people. But when I drive this car, I exist. I absolutely exist when they see me in this car. And it is so fucking funny. Like guys that would never, again, I'm completely invisible to them. They see me in this car, they're waving at me, they're giving me the thumbs up, they're wait, they're pulling their, you know, the, the other drivers, they put their windows down. Um, um, it's just, it's, it is so fucking funny. Of course, Jimmy Dean is being Jimmy Dean. You make boring weddings fun with drugs, explosives, and scantily clad women, and drugs. Those four things, just not my idea of fun. Um, although, growing up, I was a little bit of a pyro. I absolutely was. And yeah, I was definitely a pyro. Um, but no, no. It would be exciting if those things happen, but not my kind of exciting. It's not the things that I'd be like, yeah, but it'd be like, oh, we've got problems. We got real problems here. But yeah, it is so fucking funny to see people who normally don't acknowledge that I exist on this planet. They see me in this shit. It's like, whoa. I mean, when I drive the Mercedes, you get some people that have like a quizzical look, like, why is he in that high end vehicle in the driver's seat operating it, and there are no cops chasing him? Well, why is that happening? Right? It's more of a I don't understand what I'm seeing here type of deal. Um, um, but when I drive this car, the the attitude is so much more positive. It's really really funny. I mean, right now I'm driving through minivan land. Those people who know Brooklyn, New York, know what I'm talking about when I say minivan land. Yo, what up, Anthony Pickett? Good to see you again. Um, should have a pyro phase. It teaches risk management and the consequence of not thinking through situations. Um, in theory, yes. In practice, pretty dangerous. Like everybody should experience a catastrophic house fire in their life just to see how bad catastrophic house fires can be. Eh, no. Um, so it's weird. I've always been very risk averse, and um, that plus being a pyro probably kept me from making my family experience a catastrophic house fire. Some years ago, when my mother was working as like some sort of fire safety instructor or something like that, one of the most out of place jobs that I ever saw my mom really have. I think my mom had some jobs that when you look at her resume just doesn't match. It's just weird. But anyway, um, she was doing her thing as a fire safety instructor, and um, 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 I think there was a statistic, at least 20 years ago when she was doing that job, that on average, everybody suffers a catastrophic house fire once every 10 years. sometimes I don't like to think about that stat because if that stat is accurate, I'm about 4 catastrophic house fires behind. And I definitely want to keep defying the statistics on that. Um, I let's just keep that where it is. Right now, I'm supposed to be coming upon my 4th catastrophic house fire, and I'm at 0. Although the second lady, sometimes I'm like, yo, you really do want to burn. She when she cooks, sometimes it's like, yo, trying to burn the house down. The fuck. Um, it's real. I mean, it's funny because it's like the house didn't burn down, but it's not funny because the house could have burned down. Experience watching one, then that would mean that the average would be like every 2 days because they're on the news all the time. You know, but that is a good question. Experiencing what what does experiencing entail? It's a good fucking question. It's a good fucking question. Shit. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keep driving straight because I do not want to go near the BQE right now, and I don't want to be underneath the BQE either. Because it's not. I had some fucking cement runoff water um hit this car yesterday, and the valet manager was like, yeah, you don't want to let that set. So just like, okay, I'll let you wash it. Please take care of it. I'll bring you the money, which I always do. I always bring him the money. But when I came back, the car wasn't washed. I'm like, you told me it was a fucking emergency. But he sealed the car a couple, what was it, like a few days ago, a week ago. A week? Yeah, it's more than a few. It's more than several. Um, oh yeah, Jimmy Dean, thanks, man. Yo, go get your money, man. Go get your money. But he's like, yeah, that cement or whatever, you shouldn't let it sit. And it's like, okay, then wash it. Like, you know? And I gave him the money, and I looked, and the same shit's still in the car. Like, you told me it was an emergency. But he said he's gonna take care of it when I get back, which will be just in a few minutes. I mean, not a few minutes, but I'm on my way back to bring the car back to the garage. It's weird. I haven't really driven the Mercedes since I got this car, and I wonder how weird it's gonna be. I wonder how weird it's gonna be to drive it, um, because I think I've kind of gotten used to. I think I've kind of gotten used to sitting low, not being able to see shit. Um, but I'll be taking a somewhat longer drive in the other vehicle. Got to get reacquainted with that. Get reacquainted with that body roll. Oh shit! Blind Bat says, I've been through more than 10 fires, especially when he was trying to burn down the Bronx. I don't know who's he, but wow. So I guess that's my where the average my average went. Um, Blind Bat has experienced um, um, mine and his lifetime's worth of catastrophic fires for us both. So that there you go. That's some other shit. It's a weird vibration sound. Let me see what happens when I change it into sport. I don't hear the vibration like I was hearing it before. Come on, bus. You're so slow. God damn it. Come on. Why are you so slow? Buses always want to get in front of you, but then they don't want to move. Fucking move. I'm gonna just let that comment stand for itself. Oh shit. Oh man, that was savage. Oh my god. We're on a one-lane road. The bus is like, I'm gonna signal. Okay, cool. Are you gonna move in accordance with your signal? Holy crap. All right, so I don't hear that weird vibration anymore when I put it in sport mode. Um, Anthony Pickett, I think he's unhappy about some kind of racist something. I guess he doesn't like Republicans. Um, yeah, a lot of people have a lot of issues with different political parties. It's funny. I had a little bit of a back and forth with another content creator on Twitter. Try to stay off of Twitter, but just I just wanted to say what I wanted to say. And hope, oh yeah, think about it. It's the right place. I hope I am, because it might not be. Shit. Yeah. But I had this discussion, and they're one of the I guess he would refer to himself as a Republican, and I was commenting on the fact that I don't really like um I don't really um I don't see the difference between Democrats and Republicans and their followers. Um, and I say both sides they cherry pick quasi fake facts, and then they trumpet them as the gold standard of what everybody should believe. when a lot of what they say are either outright lies or disingenuous at best. And you know, you know, me and the guy going back and forth, and um, me and he's like, well, that might be true about both parties, but at least the Republican Party supports your right to free speech. And I'm just like, no, they don't. They support just like the leftists. They only support your right to free speech as long as you're saying what they agree with. He's like, well, I haven't really seen any of that. And I'm just like, well, you've got Republicans talking about, they want to engage in book bannings and book burnings when the books touch on subjects that have to do with the racial atrocities committed against Black people in this country. They don't want to talk about this country's history with that, so they want to ban books and burn them. That's censorship too. Everybody wants to talk about cancel culture. I think burning books, that sounds like cancel culture to me. So, every single time somebody says, well, the other side does this, and then I'm able to point to, oh, but the liberals, they're against civil liberties. Well, when women want to abort their children, you don't want them to have that civil liberty. Not saying that I agree with it, but what I'm saying is they don't keep that same energy. Whenever it comes to people wanting to live their life how they want to, they want to legislate that away, but then still talk about freedom. When it comes to protests that block traffic, when Black people are talking about their right, the freedom to exist without being killed extrajudiciously, what do the Republicans do? They pass new laws that make it legal to run over protesters in the car. But then when the truckers in Canada block traffic, they support and fund them. But you just said that you support peaceful protests as long as it's done a certain way. You don't like it when people who believe that Black Lives Matter, you didn't like it when they block traffic. But when people are shouting your rhetoric, now it's okay that they block traffic. You're not calling for new laws to be put on the books to make it legal to run those people over, right? So, every single time I hear about how the other side is so bad and look at their messed up tactics, right? Then I see that the person talking that shit, their side does the same shit. But it's okay because it's what I agree with. That's why I don't subscribe to any of that shit. You guys know that I'm constantly saying, keep that same energy. Keep that same energy. You want civil liberties? Okay. Allow these people to live their lives the way that they want to live their lives. Right? But no. They should only be free to live their lives the way you would live your life, and vice versa. Nope, not with it. I'm going to answer your question, Anthony, when I get off the Brooklyn Bridge. Can't really look at that stuff while I'm on the bridge. Like I'll look at comments at like red lights and stuff like that. But when I'm in motion and I have to pay attention to the comments like that. So, but I try to I try to make sure I address, the comments in a timely fashion, safety permitting. Maybe I might get one of those things that Louis Rossman has, where he has the comments dictated to him in his headset, so he's able to listen to what's being written in the comments, and then he can respond without ever having to look at the screen. But I don't have that, so right now I just have to, only look at comments when I'm not in motion. Safety first. Safety first. Okay. Okay, there was a. Would you support Ukraine after the important guns? Oh, they were pointing guns at black people that were trying to get out of there. That is a very, very interesting topic. Let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about that a little bit because, you know, we're seeing this play out, right? And there are some atrocities that are happening. So my comments have no bearing on my belief that the Russian incursion into Ukraine is not only morally reprehensible, but it's also tactically inept. It is just a stupid decision. Regardless of the military advantages you have by having a Russian-friendly government next door to the West, if you're Russia, this is, even if they do take Ukraine, it is the most Pyrrhic of all Pyrrhic victories. Okay, so this doesn't have any bearing. But I want to talk specifically about how Africans that were in Ukraine were treated when they were trying to get the fuck out of there. Okay. As far as Black Power Magic Hour, you're gonna have to ask Messiah Rhodes about that. Where the show is. You're gonna have to ask. Let me take this call right quick from my other co-host. So I am doing Genius Take the Wheel, Captain Paul. So if you want to talk to me, get in the comment section.
Oh, fuck. All right, man.
All right.
I just uploaded video, so all right, I'll talk to you in a second.
All right. All right.
All right, bro.
All right. Yeah, that's Captain Paul. But anyway, so when black people talk about racial inequities, the gaslighting starts immediately. Oh, no, that's not real. I mean, people will tell us that our experiences that we experience in real time are not real. That's infuriating, because not only do we have to deal with the racial deal with the behaviors that are spawned out of racial bias that are almost never in our favor, okay? But then not only do we have to deal with the anti-black racial bias, we then have to have people tell us that the bias that we're experiencing is not actually happening. So that just adds insult to injury, as if we don't know what it is we're experiencing on a daily basis, okay? And I'm one of these guys. I really don't like to see the race card pulled day in and day out, because I believe that sometimes there are incidents that don't go in black people's favor, but I don't really believe necessarily that it didn't go in their favor because of race. So I'm really careful with this, right? But we've got video footage of people trying to get on a train to get into Poland. We've got video footage of people, video footage, trying to get on the train, and they have soldiers pointing guns at them, not pointing guns at the Russians that are invading and bombing them. They're pointing them at black women, children, and men trying to get the fuck out the country. Now, understand something. Understand something. What up, Captain Paul? Ukraine is not allowing black people into their country that will not help push the Ukrainian best interest forward. They're just not allowing them into the country. Okay? They're not allowing, gangsters, drug dealers, anything like that. And Nigerians and Ghanaians are not known for that anyway, right? So only the best and brightest are really accepted by European countries, okay? They don't really like black people or dark-skinned people unless they can get some material benefit, obvious material benefit from their existence in their country. But after you do the brain drain and you've gotten all of the benefits out of these black people, right? And war breaks out, and it's time to get people out of the country. You're doing the same fucking shit. And the United States, had the playbook when it came to this anyway. The United States ran the playbook on making sure that in situations where shit is hitting the fan, we make sure that we get the white people out and fuck the black people. And for me, I would be more pissed off if I didn't see it all the time and wasn't expecting it. Right? But here's the thing. All the people that like to tell me about how racism isn't real, they're mysteriously silent when we've got evidence of it right there in our fucking face. Ain't that about a bitch? They're pointing guns in the faces of black mothers to get them to step back so that they can allow the white woman to board the train. And I can understand why black people say, well, why should I care about their suffering when that's the way that they're going to do people that look like me? I can definitely see that, but why won't allow me to say, well, screw you then. I hope that, Russia takes over the country. Nah. But I don't want to see any more of the gaslighting. When the Rona first started, what did we hear from French doctors? Oh, we should be taking the vaccine to Africa. Let's test it on the Africans first. But I got to keep hearing all the time about how racism isn't real. It's really fucking irritating. Yeah, Captain Paul, it's definitely ignorance, and you know how I feel about racism. I don't think that I've met a single person who did not act on a racial bias of some kind. a white woman that is like, yo, I want that BBC. That is a bias based on race. You can say that it's benevolent racism, but it's still racism because her decisions are still based on a racial bias. So I don't think that there's anybody on planet Earth that has reached an age where they can be cognitive of the differences of different races that haven't acted on a racial bias of some kind, for better or for worse. And I'll say it a million fucking times. There has never been a human being on planet Earth that wasn't a racist. Now, what you choose to do with your racial bias, that is going to be the telling part of your character. Are you going to use your bias to benefit people around you, or even the people that are not around you? Or are you going to allow that bias to put other people in advantages? When you're pointing guns in the faces of black people trying to get out of a country that is involved, and they don't have a dog in the fight as far as, the conflict itself. I got a problem with that. Captain Paul says, I usually get asked for the SWC. God damn. God damn. And Anthony, you're absolutely correct. I just watched a video from O'Shea Duke Jackson where a black man in Chicago is traveling to the Ukraine to go fight for Ukraine in their conflict. And this weekend, he is marrying a Ukrainian woman who's been with him for, who knows how long. And, she's like, well, I speak like seven different languages fluently, and I just can't see my people go through this. So I'm going to go there. And he's like, well, I'm not going to let her go down like that. I'm not going to let her go there. He's got prior military experience, but they're looking for everything that they can carry on them on an airplane that's legal for them to, the Ukraine is not even providing materials. The people have to provide their own materials to provide material support with their lives to their cause. Right? But that's what they're calling for. They're calling for people to put their lives on the line. But and they'll happily let you take a bullet for them. But when it comes time to people that look like you getting to safety, they're more quick to put a bullet in you than the Russian aggressors. And don't think we don't see that shit. And just like Mr. Pickett just said, black people will recognize how you do us, but then they'll still come to your fucking defense. I'm a little torn on that too, because again, I don't want my character to be dictated by the atrocities you commit against me or people that look like me. But at the same time, that's some simp shit. Hey, you treat us like shit. Let me go defend your life with mine. There's some questions. There's some questions that need to be answered. Captain Paul says that he disagrees with Mr. Pickett a little bit. I face discrimination due to my skin tone from black people. Now, is it as targeted as black people? Absolutely not. But I do feel a lot of it is based in the environment and how they're raised. I mean, yeah. But I think that goes for everybody. If you are the racial minority in a given area, you're gonna probably face some sort of persecution there. But we need to have these conversations. And I think black people are really fucking tired of having these kinds of things happen. And then, even as they're happening, being told that it's not happening as we're watching it happen. Now, I've been in situations even recently where it's like, dog, just fucking say what it is you want to say. I don't like y'all because y'all look different, and the news told me that all of y'all are violent. Just fucking say it. Don't give me all of this bullshit about equal opportunity and I'm not a racist and blah blah blah. Don't spare me. Just like those guys in Georgia that killed Ahmaud Arbery, tried to make the case that that their killing of him had nothing to do with race, but every fucking 17 seconds, nagger, nagger. We got that nagger, but it wasn't racially motivated. Yeah, yeah, okay. You know, I read a lot of books, Captain Paul, in the past. You know, we're talking about the civil rights era of the United States. Um, oh, by the way, the Ahmaud Arbery was not killed by police officers. They were killed by a former police officer and a wannabe police officer. Um, um, you know, I remember reading books about the civil rights era. You know, the civil rights era was about 20, 25 years before me. Okay. So when I was in school and I really loved to read about history, it's probably when I don't know. I did like math. I did like the sciences, but social studies and history, I don't know. I really valued learning about those things. Um, for the life of me, I can't really. I don't know why, but that's what it was. And I remember reading various authors who were black. Um, um, Yo, stop fucking changing lanes. And you know, they talked about their experiences as children, and you heard the same thing said, where they'll say, "Well, I had friends in my neighborhood that were a different race, that were white, and we had a good time hanging out. But the first time that I ever experienced racism was when their parents told them that they weren't allowed to play with me anymore. And when the kid asked why, oh, because their skin color is different than yours." It is definitely, the biases are definitely learned, you know. Um, you know, you know, the kids will really only know about the biases of the biases. I don't know really how to pronounce that. When other people introduce, like, that's why I didn't give too much flack to Kyle Rittenhouse, because I knew that his beliefs weren't his, they were his parents' beliefs. You know, he was indoctrinated into believing that, you know, he's playing for the Bloods and all those other people play for the Crips, you know. And I have to defend this empty parking lot. I'm going to defend this empty parking lot with my life because of those goddamn BLMs, those Crips. I'm a Blood. Notice how I don't call them Republicans and Democrats. I call them Bloods and Crips. This West Side Highway is jammed up. Nah, the older Captain Paul, the older guy that was involved, he was in the police department and had served, I think, over 2 decades and what was retired. And his son was a wannabe. And then the other guy was like, look, I filmed it. See, look, we're heroes. I filmed it. We got that nagger. He's always complaining. What a nagger. I think you're right. I think that we are seeing the beginnings of a culture shift. But I think that so many lives have been lost, so many lives have been ruined, so many people's lives have been altered. So many people are still carrying the generational trauma of, those who came before them, and they look at the pain, like for instance, like my dad, right? Me and him, we used to argue, and I used to argue that racism was over. And of course, I was a young fucking fool that believed that some white girls letting me ejaculate on them or in them meant that racism was over. What kind of a fucking idiot was I? um, and then you gotta, you know, you gotta, it's almost like a form of gaslighting. It's almost like a form of gaslighting for them too. It's like listening to your own kid, um, listening to your own kid tell you that what you're still seeing in society ain't there because he got a little bit of that sloppy, a little sloppy toppy, or as mediocre tutorials and reviews would say, those supple viscous innards. As I've I don't think it's like a product of my age, just my opportunity to see more shit and to put them into proper and put that shit in the proper context. Um, I understand that even as the culture shift continues, there's still a lot of pain that's there. And while, we're not getting, lynchings on the same scale that we used to have them, some of the things that happen will still have a profound effect on people, even if it doesn't seem like it's that bad to the outside observer. So, I believe that goes primarily for Black people living in the United States. And if you're stuck in Poland and you're Nigerian, I guess that also applies to you as well. But I also believe that the principle, even though it may be what looks like a less severe part of the scale, it applies to white people in certain ways too. It's just not to the level of extrajudicious killings. Giving Black people the death penalty because they fell asleep at a red light, or they called for police because their vehicle stalled, or um, they're mistaken for the wrong person, or they're accused of passing a counterfeit $10 bill, something that people of all races do every single day, unbeknownst to themselves, because that's how money works. You got to get it into the hands of people that don't know it's funny money in order to make money creating counterfeits. So I understand that the principle does apply to white people sometimes, but I also understand too that the severity levels definitely do differ. Wow, this road opened up super quick. That's some shit. Anyway, I'm getting close to getting up out this vehicle. I really do appreciate the topic suggestion from Anthony Pickett. So definitely much love to you. I hope I was able to explain myself uh, in an effective way to answer your question about how Africans were being treated at the border of Ukraine and Poland. All right. I'm going to get the fuck up out of here. And yeah, thank you for hanging out with me on this ride. And I will see you mofos probably on Sunday for Genius Take the Wheel. Hopefully we get an actual podcast with Captain Paul sometime also maybe on Sunday. We'll see. But I'm up out of here. Peace.